Time for rock news on 101.1 WJRR, Orlando's rock station. Let's check in with Lynch and Taco and see which rockers are making the headlines for all the right and wrong reasons. 101.1 WJRR.
Rock news brought to you by JRR's Tuesday Ticket Takeover at 101.1 WJRR on Instagram.
All day today, your chance to win tickets to the sold-out Spirit Box show.
High demand tickets. We've got them. All you got to do is pop over to our Instagram and follow the instructions from yours truly, and you'll be in the running.
Pat said it at 101.1 WJRR.
Let's begin with something that happened 40 years ago today, and many rock fans thought was a horrible April Fool's joke, but it wasn't.
Oh, what was it?
It was 40 years ago today in 1985 that David Lee Roth said, "See ya!" to the guys in Van Halen.
Later.
Shook hands with Eddie Van Halen. Later, buddy, I'm going to go do my own thing. Of course, later on, he did rejoin the band for a period, only to leave again, and, the story kind of wrote itself over the years.
Yeah, smart that he came back in my eyes. But
Congrats to Jane's Addiction guitarist Dave Navarro, who got married for the 4th time over the weekend.
all right, Dave.
This time he's going to take a swing with Swedish actress and fashion designer Vanessa de Basso. They got married over the weekend.
He's good at taking swings. He took one from
Incoming, yes. Perry Farrell. Quick recap of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame fan vote, which continues at rockhall.com until, I believe, the 21st. We had one slight change this week in the top 5. Soundgarden slipping a spot to position 5 from 4. They were surpassed by Cyndi Lauper. Billy Idol still at position 3. Bad Company at number 2. And Fish locked in at 1.
with the runaway amount of votes,
Actually,
right?
Bad Company's starting to close the gap.
Good.
Roger Daltrey.
Give them that address again, that email address to go to.
Rockhall.com. Roger Daltrey offers a health update as he performed this past weekend in London's Royal Albert Hall. He let fans know that, well, his age and health are kind of catching up with him. Told the crowd, the joys of getting old mean you go deaf. I also now have got the joy of going blind.
Really?
Fortunately, I still have my voice because then I'll have a full Tommy. He was referring, of course, to the band's rock opera Tommy.
Yeah.
In the Deaf, Dumb, and Blind Kid.
I caught it.
He's suffering some loss of hearing and eyesight at this point. So
It stinks.
But, Sex Pistols announcing a North American tour. Obviously, the name Sex Pistols, sure, but not exactly from back in the day. Frank Carter will handle the vocals. John Lydon on the sidelines for this. Steve Jones, Glenn Matlock, Paul Cook will all be there. None of the tour dates are anywhere near where we live here in Central Florida. Looks like the closest place you could get if you want to see them would be Philly, D.C. maybe.
Oh, okay.
Or if you want to get over to Dallas.
I thought you were going to say it had to be in Europe.
No. Well, they did some European dates, and now they're rolling out this handful of North American shows later this year, September and October. 38 Special, we're here in Central Florida for the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival in Lake Buena Vista. They did 6 shows over 2 days, and one of the shows featured a duck walking out on stage in the middle of their set, and the band took it in stride, saying, "We're especially grateful for the best opening act tonight, only at Disney."
They should have grabbed a 38 Special and taken care.
It's pretty. Some of you might have been there to see that.
We had listeners actually text in that were there, and also listeners that ran into one of the guys walking around enjoying things.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Billy Corgan will perform classic Smashing Pumpkins material on his solo tour, he's announced. Billy Corgan and the Machines of God will do a North American tour set for starting in June. It's billed as the Return to Zero tour. We'll see Corgan and company celebrating the Pumpkins' Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness 30th anniversary, Machina, the Machines of God, and its sequel. Set list will draw from those albums with tour dates kicking off June 7th in Baltimore and running through June 29th in Minneapolis. Again, nothing included in Central Florida as of yet. who knows? That could change depending on how the tour does. Speaking of how tours are going to do, Danger Will Robinson, Linkin Park, minus Chester Bennington, is proven to be a bit of a hard sell in places. The band had to bag its scheduled show at Dodger Stadium, which was originally going to be in September, and they've moved it cross town to the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. So they're going from a 56,000-seat stadium to an 18,000-seat arena, which most bands, don't get me wrong, would love to fill an 18,000-seat arena, but you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah, as soon as you said L.A. Stadium, I'm thinking, hell.
Queens of the Stone Age also dropped off the Linkin Park bill. This is not the only show Linkin Park is having trouble selling tickets to. They've also announced a new promotion for all of their U.S. shows where you can buy a ticket for $39.50 and get a randomly assigned seat. They've also apparently canceled shows in Rio de Janeiro and Porto Alegre, Brazil. A lot of people are starting to put the blame on new singer Emily Armstrong, thinking her ties to Scientology and her support of convicted rapist Danny Masterson may be dampening enthusiasm as far as forking over your hard-earned bucks. Yesterday, Kid Rock was in the Oval Office as Donald Trump signed an executive order, including one that could change the way tickets are bought for concerts and events. So they're going to try again to try to get a grip on these out-of-control ticket prices via an executive order. The Department of Justice is said to put out a set of what they will say be terms of this executive order in the coming weeks. Now, if you remember back just a couple years ago, they tried this with Biden and nothing happened, even though they put in some regulations in place. The free-for-all with the ticket and aftermarket continued on. This is just the latest attempt to try to rein it all in. I don't know if this is just a lost cause or what at this point.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I hope they can do something about out-of-control ticket prices, but I guess the message here is I would not hold your breath. Just wouldn't hold your breath. All right, that's your rock news for this week.
That was a thick helping right there.
I think we got it all in.
Station 101.1